Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue number 2 from IDW. So I'm assuming the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures is done, and this is like the follow-up. Because we've gotten 2 issues of this series, and we haven't gotten another issue of just the regular Saturday Morning Adventures. So if that's the case, that's kind of a shame, but at least we got this. And this has been pretty good so far. So this is the Turtle King Part 2. So it's just kind of continuing where the first issue left off, which I did a video for that one if you're interested in catching up. The basic gist is that the Rat King lost his ability to control rats, but somehow has gained the ability to control the Ninja Turtles. And so now he's using the Ninja Turtles to cause chaos. That's pretty much it. In fact, for anyone who didn't read the first issue, this issue does a great job of catching you up, and it does it in a pretty interesting way. It pretty much just has April O'Neil, and she's telling like the news story, and the news story is breaking the fourth wall. It's just pretty much a Channel 6 action recap, and she's like, in issue number 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued, the Rat King was doused with the chemical, yada yada yada, and so we just have like a splash page of her like telling this news report by breaking the fourth wall as she explains what the last issue was about. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. And then we immediately get like a cast of characters where we have like their names and what they do. So like, Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael's cool but rude, Michelangelo's a party dude, and just like little short descriptions of who these characters are. And I was like, all right, that's kind of cool too. This reminds me very much of like manga when you're reading like the volumes. They have like the main characters and just like a little brief description of their part in the story. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool too. So we start off this issue with Shredder going back to this abandoned warehouse where Krang is there. And Shredder's like, I've been working on a plan to get the Technodrome back using this. And he shows like this rock. And Krang's like, a rock? You're going to use a rock to get the Technodrome back? Have you been hit in the head too many times? Like, what's going on with you? Shredder explains that this isn't like an ordinary rock, but it's the recovered remains of a meteorite that fell in ancient Japan. And this is half of that meteorite. The other half was used to create this legendary sword that's able to cut through reality. Like, using the sword, you can slash and open up a portal to Limbo. And so by using this rock, we might be able to create like this great weapon. And that's kind of it. So I'm assuming Shredder and the whole rock situation is going to be what the next arc is going to focus on. Because this is the Rat King's arc, and this arc ends with this issue. So we cut to the Rat King, speaking of him, and the Turtles. And the Turtles are basically furries now. They're wearing rat suits, and they're attacking a cheese store and giving a bunch of cheese to these rats. So the Rat King's like, even though I can't control my rats, I can control the turtles. And maybe if I use the turtles to get a bunch of cheese and give it to the rats will like start acknowledging me again. Yeah, they're like basically just causing chaos. Meanwhile, Donatello is back in the sewers with Splinter and April. And Donatello is not brainwashed. He was in the first issue, but he got electrocuted by accident, and that has somehow freed him from being mind controlled. So now he's working on this taser that he's going to use to tase his brothers so that they won't be controlled by the Rat King anymore. And so I love this panel where Donatello is showing the Turtlecoms. I just love the panel because of the fact that it has the Turtlecoms in it. It just brings me back to my childhood. The freaking Turtlecoms. I had like every turtle merchandise I can get my hands on. I'm even to this day, I'm a huge freak when it comes to Ninja Turtles. Not so much the comics. I've been trying to get back into them. Like, well, I don't want to say get back into them because I never really read them outside of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, the Archie comics. I read those as a kid. Other than that, like I never read the original Mirage until like a couple years ago. I did a whole, if you guys are interested in that, you'll find a playlist at the end of this video if you're watching this on YouTube. But I did a whole, basically series where I went through every single issue, including the guest era stuff of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1, and just did my instant take on it. But yeah, I have like all the video games. I got all the toys, all the cartoons I would watch, t-shirts, pajamas, everything. And the Turtlecoms is always like one of my favorite toys. I don't know why, but yeah, it's just great to see you back in there. I'm just kind of rambling at that. So we cut to the Rat King, where the Rat King is taking the turtles through this underground tunnel that's kind of like abandoned. And above the tunnel is the Hudson River. And so what the Rat King's plan is that he's going to get the turtles to destroy the tunnel so that the Hudson River comes in and floods the tunnels in the underground system. And the flood in the underground system will cause all the rats to come up onto the city. Not only will it cause the rats to come up to the city, but the buildings that are nearby will collapse because, the underground will collapse. And so with the underground collapse, the buildings on top of it will collapse with it. And so the rats will be able to take control of the city in that way. Basically, he's thinking that if he does this, the humans will flee the city because not only are the buildings toppling, but also it's being infested with rats. No one wants to be living, in this ruins with a bunch of vermins. So that's his plan. And so the turtles start blasting this tunnel. Meanwhile, Donatello and Splinter are riding on their jetpack skateboards, and they arrive, and we have a showdown. So we have Splinter fighting off his sons. He's battling Leonardo, Raphael, and Michelangelo as they're being controlled by the Rat King. Meanwhile, Donatello is trying to go around zapping all of them with tasers so that he can free them from this mind control spell. And yeah, that's pretty much what we get. We just get like a cool little fight scene between Splinter and the turtles, because eventually eventually we get to a point where Donatello is able to free his brothers, but then the Rat King just uses his powers again, and he's able to control everyone, including Donatello. So now Splinter is on his own, and Splinter is forced to fight his sons. Yeah, eventually, I guess I can go a little bit further. He's able to defeat the Rat King by using the taser not on his sons, but instead on the Rat King. So he zaps the Rat King, knocks the Rat King out, and with the Rat King knocked out, the mind control on the turtles wears out, and they're back to their regular selves. And then there's a bit more. There's like, the epilogue to this, as well as the setup with Shredder, Krang, and The Rock, which I'm assuming is going to lead into the next arc. But I enjoyed this. I like this a lot. It feels very much like an episode of the 80s cartoon series, which, that's what it was setting out to be. But it feels very much like that, only a little bit more serious. So it's not as goofy as the cartoon, but it has its goofy moments. It has its like comedic moments. It's very kid friendly. It's just a little bit more serious than that. So I guess maybe almost kind of like the Nickelodeon. Well, no, it's not as serious as the Nickelodeon CGI Turtle series, but it's just a tiny little step up more serious than the original cartoons. But it's awesome. It's great. I love it. Maybe a lot of it is just nostalgia talking, but it feels very much like it could be an episode from back then. And it looks very much like it could be an episode from back then, because the art style is pretty much trying to mimic what the cartoon was like. But I love it. This is a great series. This was a great issue. I highly recommend checking it out if you're into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you grew up with the original cartoon, or if you just have young children that you want to get into comics. This is definitely something that is totally okay for them to read. Like, it's very kid friendly. It's basically it was made both for kids, but also for people who grew up with the original cartoons. There's a little bit of something for everybody in this series. But yeah, I absolutely love it. So there you go. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures Continued, issue number 2 from IDW. Awesome issue. Great series. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.